Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. How are we all doing? How are we all doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. I think I know how to count to 10, or from 10, or around 10. I think.
Can you go? Oh, Twitch isn't muted. I was like, I can hear a slight echo. That'll be one.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Let's turn the music a little bit because Steve's gonna yell
Guess
at
what
me.
I heard a second later?
What was that?
A slight echo.
Oh, gotcha. That distant ping. How's everybody doing today? Good? We didn't play last week, did we?
No.
Which I was, on one hand, I was like, oh my god, I really needed that morning. I did so much stuff that morning. I prepped up the room that's going to the office. On the other hand, I was like, oh, I hate missing the game. But on the third hand, I was like, well, Kingmaker actually had to get skipped twice because of, I'm just going to blame it all on Rena. I'm just going to blame everything on Rena just because she's the only girl in the game so far.
You don't mean Kingmaker though. Just saying.
Damn it.
I was gonna say.
Regicide got skipped twice. So actually, skipping that one session of Kingmaker actually kind of worked out because it's almost now instead of being a line, because for season 2, you guys were every step of the way perfectly lined up. Now you're one step ahead of them, so not the end of the world. All right, cool. So I'm excited to jump back into the game to remember where we were when we left off because there's a lot of stuff going on. But quick little update of what's going on because obviously the scenery is still different. Yesterday I put up the what's it called? Framing of the room. After I already scrubbed it out last Wednesday. Yes, I did the framing room. Today I'm actually going and getting the electrical equipment. I think I'm going to box out the entire room, run all the wires, set up my breakers and everything. So then hopefully maybe like a few more weeks I can move it. Actually, I'm hoping by the end of the week, like next week, I can get in that room, even if it still looks ugly as shit. So it's a quick little update on that. All right, we're here to play Dungeons and Dragons, not talking about an office. So why don't
Pathfinder, buddy.
What?
We're here to play Pathfinder, buddy.
We're here to play a role-playing game with virtual dice and friends across the globe. Except for you two, you guys aren't really across the globe.
Get wrecked by Jake though.
Oh. So let's go jump into the game. So Jake, you want to remind us where we were at last session?
As it's
Revenge.
Fresh in your mind, and you're at what is it, 8:45 or 9:45 where you are, you can. I'll leave that to you.
Aw, thanks, buddy. So 2 sessions ago ended with threats of a person in a prison cell. That was 3 weeks, 2 sessions ago. Threats of a person inside of a prison cell. Maybe they'll just have an accident and die.
Oh, that's right. I remember what happened last time now. It was the... Fuck. I'm gonna give a really bad recap so you never make me do this again. But basically, we had dignitaries, or a dignitary over from Vigil, the Vigil, or I actually can't remember. Octavia.
Yep, Octavia is her name. The Vigil is the title. Vigil is the town. There's a lot of creativity going on.
For negotiations that went actually okay. Not bad, not generally good, just okay. But we kind of fucked up and forgot to inform our friend that shit was going down. So that happened, and but one was smart and got 2 out of dodge. So things ended up pretty good for the most part, although there is tension. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that means.
I was waving at unfunny one because he was.
No. I went. There was tension, and I went. And I don't know what that means.
That's the sign of tension. Like there's emotion, and they're heading. Is this not the international side of tension? Jake, we can make it that. Now it's international, right? We're like half a plane across. God. So, come on, Neil, get in on this. Get it multinational. Neil, come on, make it multinational.
I'll give you that one.
Neil, come on, Neil. Yeah! Setting trends here. All right, it's pretty terrible.
I apologize for my part in this.
The very tail end of that session, with everything else that transpired, the taking two out, the long conversation that you had with her, everything else that transpired, it all ended with Jake and one going off into the woods, having another little conversation with her that kind of ended with the two of them having a bit of a bout. A bit of a bout that will be released onto Patreon sometime this month for all the wonderful patrons over there to see how that plays out. But
spoiler alert, she well, actually, no, I'm not going to go there. Don't worry.
You know,
Continue. Don't worry.
you know those programs where someone sleeps with someone and literally generates their own downfall in the version of a child?
Hey, wait a second. I think your parents need to have that conversation with you again about where babies come from. So
It involves a sword, right?
The two of them are getting reacquainted again. It's funny how slowly it's happening. All right, so why don't we pick up with kind of where we left off last time. Jake, you've already come back into town and made your way to the, what are they called? The bathhouse to, go and clean up and everything afterwards, get properly adorned. It's a whole day has passed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know you guys had, Leon had finally returned from everything that he was doing, and he was kind of like, I'm going to sit here and be quiet during all the meetings, and now he can kind of start resubsuming his duties because he'd been removed from them for a while. I don't think there were any other super time sensitive details that needed to be handled. Obviously, there is the factor that what's her name has not returned yet. I can't remember her name, but Jake's little girl there.
I thought she came back with
Nelly.
Leon.
Oh, my apologies. She did come back. She just hasn't spoken with you yet. That's right. Yeah. But I don't think there was anything else that was extremely time sensitive either. So why don't we go jumping back into the campaign?
Yeah, can I
Please.
My character he wanted to convert those orc boys we captured to bodyguards, and we just did a kingdom roll, so I assume that's a month. So is there any rolls I can do to facilitate the starting of making them into my own personal bodyguards?
Oh yeah, actually it was literally, hey, you can go sniff the kitty, but she doesn't want to play. So yes, you can literally do exactly that. I was saying you had to wait till after the kingdom roll. I think we just forgot to do that during the kingdom roll because it was the very tail end of a session. So you're welcome to do that right now. Why don't you, it was a loyalty check is what you were looking to do. Oh, the two of them are button noses. How cute.
A loyalty check, was it?
Correct, sir.
What is that?
My apologies. Let me actually open up the, I don't know if anybody else has that opened up on.
It's a plus 18.
There you go.
Loyalty, sorry, plus 17.
Kingmaker.
It's a plus 17.
I believe you. I still have to have it open though.
Alright.
He doesn't believe me, guys. Did you hear that? He
Okay.
confirmed it.
Can we just have a look at that, please?
Oh.
I'll be taking those two orc boys.
Okay, I want you to describe how this plays out because that is an incredible roll, sir. That is an incredible roll. I set the DC pretty friggin' high too. Holy crap. Okay.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Just loaded in finally.
Every time they disobey an order, one slaps them around the face with his beheaded, decapitated head. Just
Jesus.
If you had it it's now a shrunken head.
Go ahead, talk to us. Explain, Jake. How does this play out?
So since we've had him prisoner, I guess one has been periodically making his way down to the cells and probably just beating the shit out of him and preaching and stuff, explaining why they are wrong in what they were doing in trying to just kill everyone, Baron, and what they need to do, and that he's really strong because he killed Osugo, and these guys are really weak, and they need to just do whatever he says.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, there we go. So, and then I have to add 1 to that over there. Perfect. So you kind of like go through that process, go through like kind of the re-brainwashing process and everything with them, bringing them to the temple, so on and so forth. A really big question I have to ask, because he is here during this time. Do you utilize 2 during the, I suppose, training process?
No, this is one's gig.
Yeah, because it's not just for Vrogar, which they already happen to worship. It's for the kingdom, which is 2 doesn't necessarily have loyalty to the kingdom.
Yeah, it's literally loyalty to 1.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, boys, you hear that? Boys, you hear that? He has 2 of those guards. Both of you sleeping at the same time. He happens to be sitting on the throne while the 2 of you are simultaneously decapitated. Just saying. Just saying.
Loyalty to me, not the kingdom. Remember that, Scott.
Okay.
Quote Jake.
So one of the things that happened after you kind of like, because you've spent the past month popping in and talking to these guys and popping out, popping in and talking to these guys, popping out, popping in and taking these guys and bringing them to Vrogar's temple, where they're watched after. But honestly, it's one of those things where you realized after some time that you had a prejudice against them. You have been so removed from the Barren Lands that you kind of assumed the worst at every point in time. You almost started to see them the way that people outside the Barren Lands see those within, including how they used to see you. And how probably some still see you today. Once you're able to kind of like get through your trained prejudice and see them as the people that they are and the culture that they come from, you are able to have a much better understanding between them. And a respect from you to them starts to grow as their respect for you grows immensely. Eventually, I mean, you can put aside those guards and whatnot that you have because you truly feel as though you're connected with them. You even do little tests, not the initial Inquisitor tasks of casting spells, but also little things just to, like, you know, test a friendship and whatnot. Like, these people actually care? Oh, they do. Holy crap. And it's only because you've grown to trust them so much that when this next conversation happens, you're actually able to approach it with a degree of skepticism, but also an open mind, as opposed to just being, nah, bitch, get in your cell. So at one point in time, after you've already given them effectively their freedoms, you still have the guards, Kithul, and the guards around town, keeping an eye on them, just in case. Like, don't watch them, but if you see something a little gnarly, give me a heads. After you kind of like already have that arranged, that's my cell phone. After you kind of already have that arranged, with Kithul, and they're kind of like moving about town. One point in time when you go to speak with them, there's speakeasies in town. We've discussed that beforehand. But did you guys just build a tavern or an inn?
We built an inn, I think.
Yeah, inn, I think.
We built one and we decided, let me have a look. Let me scroll and I'll find the name. Or name suggestions, the best ones.
Oh, that's right. We were getting name suggestions.
That's right. It was an inn, just as you said. So then never mind. Not what I was going to say. So you know the speakeasies around town, as we already discussed beforehand. Instead of just a basic speakeasy, you actually have kind of like, you know, your own little drinking place that you typically go to. Would it be in the castle or outside of?
Oh, jeez. Probably outside for one.
Outside? Sure. We'll actually say that the little speakeasy that you have that's a little bit more private is actually, funny enough, the cellar underneath Vrogar's temple. So underneath Vrogar's shrine. Because, again, these are old buildings, so it's exterior access to basements. Interior is very, very, very rare. So it's kind of one of those, it's a speakeasy underneath your own shrine. Which makes sense, because Vrogar is about the chaos of battle and whatnot, but also celebrate Vrogar with some liquor. One point in time, you go down to the speakeasy to speak to these men. You know, kind of like a couple of typical basic conversation passes for several minutes or whatever. And one of them looks at you and says, and he, you know, he's already had a few drinks, but he says to you in all earnest, Ernest, however you want to pronounce it. One. Actually, correction. How do they refer to you as, Jake?
They would refer to me as one, but do they only speak Orcish?
They have a basic understanding of Perrin. So, okay. I mean, it's one of those... It's
do they speak to me in Orcish or Common?
They speak to you in, probably in Orcish, your guys' native tongue.
Yeah.
You're all comfortable together that way. So he'd look to you and he'd be like, "Oh, it was a cat moving the door." I was like, "What the hell was that? Where's the?" That's one of the animals moving the door. I was like, "What the hell was that noise?" So he looks at you and says, "One, you did favor for us back in time of fight. You not kill us. You keep and give chance, live good life here, meat, tender, many other things taste good. We appreciate what you do, and we wish return favor, not to you, but to others we know."
Go on.
"We stay here, and we fight your name. We kill your name. We eat our enemies your name. Or we go and we find the others. And we bring. They live good life too."
Back to the Barren Lands.
Orc army.
He says, you wish to return to the Barren Lands?
Homeland too far. Probably die. We are too small in number, 2 of us. Probably die. Try to find peoples there. Need more. Hope to survive. If not for killing, then to survive off flesh. But a long way between here, there, camps, kept, chained. There are others. Free in mountains. There are others. We call them. They come. We see them and travel here under Orsugo. Some came, some stay. We can find.
The ones that stayed, why do you think they'll come now? They didn't follow Asuga. Why would they follow you two?
Orsugo, chieftain of war. Orsugo. And he does have like a bit of like a veneration for him as he says it. Orsugo, chieftain of war. Orsugo, brilliant in battle. Orsugo bring fire and pain and destruction. It's good. We like. But
Asuga was weak. I cut off his head myself.
yes. But Orsugo, like fire, burn bright. But char wood, make ash. Nothing keep warm. Here, trees, many. Fires, yes, but burn low, burn warm.
Alright, I'm gonna sense motive on them both.
Sure. Rolls 91.
Slaughter them both now, before they betray you.
Chink chink.
You think that he has your best interests in mind?
So you wish to gather some more of our kind and bring them here.
If I guess right, and me bad counting, if I guess right, there be scores we bring. The other one chimes in and says, yeah, we bring them all, and we breed them in. You know what I mean? First one's like,
Hey, I'm breeding here.
oh, thanks, Ollie.
Is that with that guy's accent?
This is very much an Ollie line. Would you stop sniffing the cat's butt? It's not a dog.
It's what dogs do. Cats do it as well, actually. They do a little bit of a butt sniff. Just they're more like regal and elegant about it. They don't just like, they're like,
The dog's like, can you wrap that tail around my neck while I do this? Thanks.
He says to him, how long will this take? When will you be back?
The second one shrugs. Oh, well. The first one's like more or less like, I got this. And he's like, we travel smart. We know want, die. Others think us from homeland. They might think raider and attack. We need get there quick. Me think maybe if you send with us some guard, represent. Others know we not raider, and sign we no lie to orc we find on way.
Yes, but you can't eat the guards if you get hungry.
These lands plush. There is vegetation everywhere. Plus many elk, many squirrel.
Give me till tomorrow, and I'll let you know.
Okay. And he brings a big mug up and... Okay.
I'm gonna have to set up and find Rayron and Valorant.
Of course. I feel like one of them too had something else that they needed to do that was semi-time that they have. I just can't remember what it was. So hopefully they remember it.
I thought I was gonna check I was checking what the research that the mages were doing from the slavers because they
That's
had
right.
those books.
And weren't you sending Elliot somewhere? Sorry, guys. Whenever 2 weeks pass in real life, my brain skips several beats. So weren't you sending... You were sending Elliot somewhere.
Elliot is going to make negotiations for the whole ally thing with Vigil.
That's right. He's going to Vigil to take care of that issue.
Yes.
That is correct. Thank you very much. And the
After a
last...
couple days, because he had
Preparations,
to... Yeah, he's like about to finish his work, and then he can go do that.
I was about to say, and he's also about to finish up literally that paperwork. Cool. So like I said, we skipped forward already a day. Vigil had already left. Elliot will be joining her shortly. So easily you can join in with them, Jake. You can get their attention. We'll say, just because you don't always meet in the castle, we'll say you can literally catch them down by maybe an area where... what's his face? Because Jake, at one point in time, wouldn't you explain kind of like the research you were doing to Rayron? One wouldn't really understand it.
Your names are so bad. That was a
Yeah.
beautiful.
What?
He means.
Did
Did I say it reverse? I'm sorry, Tesh.
Yeah, you said.
Wouldn't you
I
at one
had no
point in
idea what
time?
you were
You said,
like
Jake,
research?
would you explain the research you were doing to Rayron? It's just like
I meant
names.
Tesh. Would you explain the research you were doing to Rayron? The research Valorant.
Yeah, no, I would, because I would like when it came to specific like runes and like spells and runes and stuff that are specific to because he has the ability to read scrolls and stuff. So if there was something that I needed like a translation on, I would come to him for it, that sort of thing.
Perfect. So why don't we actually, before we have him jump into that, why don't you actually, and I don't mean the research of the books, I meant the research you were doing prior to your getting captured.
Oh, right. I mean, yeah, I would inform him that those area that I was, because if I remember right, I was you talked to me about it, about the benefits I get in the certain areas.
Correct. So why don't we have him interject while you're finally explaining that detail to him? So we're going to say that you're not inside the castle, but maybe somewhere out in the city, kind of like pointing off to the side, like, oh, I was having this research over there. I'm going to pull us over to the map, and why don't you try, to the best of your memory, describe to him what it was that you guys, you had been researching to that time.
I don't remember that much specifics other than the fact that I was following leads of mole magics. And in those specific areas, I figured out ways to once a day to he would explain it as like it only really works once every now and then. It takes a lot of energy to do. When I cast a spell that deals acid, cold, electricity, or fire damage, I can infuse the spell with the primal mole magics to transform it into elemental energy at random, depending on the area that it's in. So before the effect is resolved, I roll a 1. This is out of character now, but I would explain it more. Like it can be one of those other elements at random, depending on the areas.
So you're saying that the landscape itself warps your magic due
Yes,
to the presence of these other crystals?
Yes, it's less that it's forcibly warping the magic, but I can allow it to influence it. This north area here, and I'll point to the. Wait, can we have the map up?
Yep, it is.
Yes,
up.
we have the map up. I just have the wrong tab open.
There you go.
So I would point to this area. So this area here has a strong essence of acid, and acid is usually what happens in this area when you use this ability to influence your magic. And then this area down here, and I'll point to there. This was close to where the incident happened. This area warps it to be more fire damage, like flame. Oh, hello, camera.
I see. Is there any way we can utilize this information?
I think, I imagine so. I'm not quite sure now, as I've only began tapping into it. But I feel like these areas could become very important. The ability to manipulate, specifically this area down to the south, to make fire magic, make spells that would normally not be fire magic. Fire would, if we can harness that, it could be very useful in combat.
We could say that one's kind of approaching around this time while you guys maintain your conversation.
So, this can only occur within the area. There's no way
As far as I know for now, but if we could find the source that's causing this, we might be able to move it.
Perhaps we could look into the generation of the mole elemental crystals. Perhaps they did it by suffusing the crystal in one of these ley lines for a period of time, or extracting the magic forcefully.
Indeed, there's a lot more research. I was very preoccupied with the research when I got interrupted. There's a reason why he was so oblivious. It's very interesting, and I definitely think it's worth checking out again.
Yes, perhaps when times allows, we'll look into it.
Well, that area, both of the areas are within our allowed sections. So maybe once we move to those sorts of areas, we can give them a really good look over.
Yes, that's not a bad idea.
Cool. So, like I said, one, you kind of came in partway during this conversation.
Yeah.
You probably didn't really understand what they were saying other than something about mole magic and affecting the area. So,
Yeah, he just let them finish. He just kind of just stood there and was just like,
Okay.
you done yet? You done yet? You done?
at that break in the conversation, he just says, Rayron, Valorant, I have news to run by you.
Ooh.
We brought the orc prisoners back from Varen.
Yes, 2 of them, right?
Yes. Over the last month and a half, I've been softening them up, trying to bring them onto our way of thinking. And I believe now I have successfully completed my task. They've made an offer to me, which I thought I would run by you guys.
Okay.
They have volunteered to serve as bodyguards to me, which I was more than happy to take up. However, they suggested that there are other orc encampments in the area, and they are thankful for the life that we can provide them here. They promise scores of orc warriors to help us maybe in the war to come. However, once they get here, if you are all right with it, they will need to be housed separately, away from the general populace. And I'll keep an eye on them, but I believe they could be a huge asset.
I think, for one, this is exactly the sort of thing we were wanting in terms of showing that we can provide a good life to those and attracting others on it. What do you think, Raymond?
I think it sounds good on the face of it. However,
Yes, that's true.
a good life for the orcs might not be a good life for everyone else here. That is not.
That's why I'm just keeping a close eye on how they are. I might even stay with them for a while.
If we could
Make sure they understand as much as these two, just what it is we're about here.
Yes, if we could successfully integrate the orcs with our people, that would be a great boon. Not merely just for the magnificent fighting prowess, but like just culturally showing that multiple cultures can work together here. It would be fantastic. But as Rayron says, that is the best case scenario.
Well, I volunteer my time. I personally, I think this is a good idea. They did not, the ones they're talking about did not follow Orsugo. They did not, for whatever reason, take to him. However, it is my thinking that with talking to these other two, that they might be more amenable to our way of life here. And they are strong. They are orcs, they are strong. They could be very useful.
I have no doubt as to their physical capabilities, more of their ability to contain themselves to our laws.
That's where I come in. I'm going to take a role of chieftain to them, if I can. It'll be the only way to keep them in line directly.
This sounds like a good idea, but what would happen if you were faced with a rebellion, an uprising? How would they go about that? You cannot simply fight 20, 30, 40 orcs.
Well, if they decide to rebel, we gather our men and we just wipe them out to the last.
Well, I should hope
But that is worst case scenario.
I should hope that that wouldn't be necessary.
Mm.
I don't believe it would. I think I can do this.
Very well.
I think it's worth a shot.
So we're in agreement then?
Yes.
They have requested a small detachment of troops just so they are granted some legitimacy in crossing the land and not are killed on sight. So I might send a few with them bearing our... I don't know if we even have an insignia. I can't remember.
What was that last part? I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry. That,
Do we have an insignia? Or a,
oh, you know what's funny
arms
is you
or-
guys still have not designed a flag or anything like that, because it's one of those things where after you guys kind of designed what you wanted your nation's flag to be, because I haven't done any flags for this continent yet, because I actually want to get an artist to kind of put them all together for me when I'm finally ready, because I can't sketch. I have no artistic capability whatsoever. However, for your nation, I'd be more than happy to get an artist to put together your flag when you're ready. I'm more than happy to find someone.
Yeah.
So you just
Okay,
gotta,
well,
but that's like, don't have to do it like mid-session, but like when you come up with one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, more or less just says, yeah, for legitimacy purposes, we need a few troops just to go with them.
That sounds reasonable.
Indeed.
An investment.
Let's hope it's a good one.
It could stand to prove to others that all are welcome here in terms of race and culture.
Not
It'd be a good
exactly.
idea. I think I'm the only.
Well, you know what I mean. With one exception.
With one's exception.
No, what? No, that's not what I said. You don't twist my words.
So at that, I'm gonna thank them, and then I will either go back to the orcs if they're still there and tell them that it's yes, or I'll find them tomorrow.
Yep, you can do exactly that. You're going to go back to them. You're going to tell them it's a yes and blah, 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 blah. But what are you willing to give them as a detachment to travel with them? Are you giving them any other goods or whatnot to go with them as well? Do you even want to offer, say, you're not trying to bribe people to come here. You're not trying to be like, yes, here's gold, come to us. But it is important that if you are going on kind of like a mission like this like propagandist mission of come to us, we're amazing, that you send proof of how amazing you are. Like say, look at this quality of silk that we have in our land. Look at this quality of food that we have in our land. Would you want to divert for that?
As well, I would go and fetch Orsugo's battle axe. That's for them to present to the various orc camps and stuff as proof that obviously he's been killed.
Didn't we get another battle axe as well?
I took Orsugo's gear. He had a battle axe and a spike chain.
Oh, that's what I've written. Yep, got it. I just realized that's what I wrote.
So, like, yeah, for like orcs and stuff from the Barrenlands, Scott, like,
we
what would I know that would really kind of
we should
put any
also
sway to them? Like, I know they like strength, but
well, more or less what I'm getting to, and because this is supposed to be a conversation we had prior to the Kingdom Rolls, it's just we had so much going on storyline-wise, we kind of put this to the side. But more or less what I was getting to, because you don't have to worry about like the finite details, the minutia like that. What you can do is more or less if you actually look at your kingdom tracking sheet, don't feel like you have to load it up. One of the things that you do is this literally called propaganda. It's like your how expansionistic you're trying to be and trying to get people to come to your, like talk about how amazing you are. You can literally go from as an edict, going from just being a standard to you can go with aggressive all the way up to expansionistic is the biggest one. Now, there's a cost to going aggressive or expansionistic with a reward. The big reward for going the 2 steps up, which is expansionistic, is you can actually claim 2 hexes every round instead of 1, which is huge in times of like we need to get stuff. And your treasury is currently sitting at 32, which is pretty cushy, all things considered. So, the nifty thing about that is if you did push for expansionistic, starting next kingdom turn, you could grab 2 hexes at the same time, which look at the map that you're looking on. That means realistically, so you're back on the map, you could grab the one to the far left or west, which is where that watering hole is that we talked about, the kind of like unique tile that's there, as well as maybe one to the north or even Rid. So you can actually grab Rid and the one to the west at the same time next kingdom turn if you guys wanted to. So it's one of those ideas, if you wanted to push expansionistic, you're welcome to do so. You don't have to. This is just me, again, fixing what we didn't do last round.
You don't need to be expansionistic.
You could go aggressive as well. It's just a matter of it pulls more people into your population. It has positive effects. So aggressive gives you stability as well. Expansionistic gives you more stability. It just, again, has a cost. That's all. Cost being consumption. You know what I mean? But you guys have BP, so you don't have to worry about that.
You say that, but we always like go through BP like it's like crazy.
It's more.
You started with a teeny tiny little town, and you in less than a year have built it up so much. That's true. Yeah. So part of what you're going to be able to do is if you were to go expansionistic and grab both the one to the west, which you need to adhere to a treaty that you had signed, and one to the east, so you can kind of expand your actual empire by getting your second town. Rid actually comes with a benefit. It actually has things in its town that offer stability and stuff like that, which is cool.
I think it's not worth it. it does us better to slowly plod along and fill out our
I think
lands.
so as well. Yeah.
And then have more BP for big buildings, etc. Walls when you need them. You know, what we still don't have a market. A
Yeah, I
cathedral,
think.
all sorts of things like that would be nice and are very expensive and won't necessarily be built soon. Not to mention that if we increase our expansion, we increase our BP consumption. So we won't really be able to do much at all other than expand and do our best to decrease the consumption from the improvements we can do on each tile.
Yeah.
It's more when you go expansionistic. It's usually a matter of a short term. You do it for, and it's to get yourself prepped for the war.
I think we if we were going to do that, we'd do that if like there was imminent combat coming soon. We'd want to like do that to build up ready.
There is imminent combat coming.
You know what I mean, though. Like,
my vote is I would push not like the one higher, not two. But if you guys don't want to push at all, then that's fine. But that's just that's what I would say.
Edicts. What's
how much
exploration?
What's the cost of the one higher one again?
Just looking at it. I'm gonna pop the link into chat so everybody can see it. And I believe only you guys are allowed to actually affect it. But anyways, when you go from standard, which it gives you 2 stability and cost 2 consumption, going to aggressive, 3 stability, 4 consumption. And then expansionistic is 4 stability, 8 consumption. So it brings your consumption up by 6. So it's 6 BP, but at the same time, it's also coming with benefits. You know what I mean? Some benefits are very...
we don't need.
Some benefits are very obvious, and other benefits you just aren't aware of yet.
I don't think we need the 6 BP extra one, but I think the 1 stage up one may not be a bad idea.
I don't think we need it. It's just a stability boost. We don't need a stability boost.
I thought it was.
Neil, you're looking at numbers. Don't think about just numbers. It's also a matter of the in-game mechanic as well, like the in-game more than just kingdom mechanic. You don't have to do it. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just, again, there's more than just looking at numbers on a piece of paper.
Okay, so explain exactly what it is. So sorry to make you do this again. So if we go for only the 1 tier up, exactly what does that give us?
Numeric, because you don't know the other.
It mean that people want to join the kingdom more, basically.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So the numbers part, it gives you 1 stability, but costs what? 2 more BP, or 1 more BP. If you do the 2 steps up, it gives you 2 more stability, but costs 6 more BP. But it also allows you to claim 2 hexes next turn instead of only 1 hex next turn.
I think the 1 step up may not be a bad idea, purely from a perspective of just getting our population up.
Yeah, from an RP standpoint, I'd like. Yeah, I feel like we should start once trying to recruit the orcs. So if that's got to be under propaganda, that's why he's doing it.
Yep, and more or less what it means is that 2 extra BP is what it comes out to. The 2 extra BP you're spending is more or less supplies that you're sending out with these orcs and the soldier, the regiment that's going with them, as look at the wonderful things that we have with our nation, plus funding the voyage itself and so on and so forth. That's more or less just how it kind of plays out.
I think that's worth it for now.
Okay.
I would agree and say just the 1 step up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 out of 3. That makes the answer.
That's about.
Sorry.
I don't mind. We've got 3 rollers for a reason.
That's true. Okay. Then I guess that's what we're doing.
Perfect. So that answers the question. You guys are going to propaganda up 1 step to aggressive, which is going to have its own effects, which we can get to later on in the game. But the worst case, the best situation to think about though is the stability is now a plus 29, and you currently your control DC is a 27. That's amazing. That's kind of keeping you guys very, very well in check, even if things cause unrest between now and then. We'll worry about that in a minute. Or if Patreon has gone down, and that means that your stability is a little bit lower. We'll worry about that in a little bit too. But anyways, so let's continue on. So you guys do all that. You're sending them out. Things are great. Love it. You're sending what's his face back to Vigil. He's already been here for a long time, done tons of work. He can afford to go to Vigil. It's Elliot for a little while. Good. Everything else is good. There was one more thing. I swear there was one more thing we wanted to do really quickly and then get back to the RP.
There was the mole ruins that we were.
That's
going
right.
to go to.
The mole ruins.
That's right.
North of whatchamacallit. You sent your people there to go and collect the things, and that's not an issue.
And we stationed people there as well.
And yeah.
That was specifically said, and they were to dress like the Hodgwen men.
Okay. Now, are you yourselves going to investigate this place yet, or nah?
If we can
I'd
spare the time,
suggest-
Yeah.
then it's not a bad idea.
Okay. There's nothing going on in the immediate now that everything's situated. The Vigil has left. She's going to have to get back to you on when it is that they can invite you to have all of your leaders meet all of their leaders and so on and so forth after the treaty is written. So it's going to take a short period of time anyways. So you actually do have time. There's kind of I don't want to say it's a lull because there's lots going on in your lives, but you can effectively continue to go there. So that was another reason why I think it was Neil and I suppose partially me is pushing now for Rid to be taken, is because once Rid is taken, that's actually a place where you're still considered in your kingdom, but it's so much closer to the other places where you need to be, so you can maintain and you can kind of like maintain your homeostasis a lot easier. All right, so moving on. Let's go to you guys traveling there. All right, is there anything particular that you wanted to bring with you before you go?
Guessing I remember failing a roll on something. I'm guessing I don't get another chance to see the necklace. I think it was.
Wait, what?
Scott doesn't remember, so roll again.
Say it one more time.
There was a magic amulet that I couldn't identify. That's
because
right.
you need to level up. Did you level up between sessions?
I
didn't think so.
Yeah. Actually, we did level up since then. Yeah.
Did you? I'll believe
No,
you.
no. Since
No, we didn't since then.
When did we get?
When did
that
we get?
was Osuga, wasn't
I
it?
think we've been level 4 for 1 or 2 sessions.
And what? Oh, that's right.
Exactly 2 sessions.
The amulet was from Osuga, Osuga's mage guy, I think.
That's correct. Roll it for me.
Okay.
Because you leveled up after Orsugo was when you were in the caves afterwards. That's right. Or somewhere around there. Did you already get the item that gives you the +5 to spellcraft checks?
Yes.
Okay, what item was that on your person, just so I know?
Let me go look, because I remember that being a thing.
Because there were 2 different items.
Additional. I should have added that.
Because I thought that was the amulet, but I could be mistaken.
Maybe I didn't get that yet. I remember talking about that, but there's nothing in my items or notes. So maybe we were talking about the amulet.
Yeah, so let me look at your character sheet really quickly and see if it's on there, because I'm pretty sure that's actually what the amulet was.
Yeah, I think that was like, I just need to make this spellcraft check. But, I can't, I have a +11.
There you go.
No, sorry, +12, and I can't roll above a 5.
My apologies. Was it a spellcraft or was it UMD? That's right. I think it actually gives you a +5 to UMD. It was supposed to be the thing that gives you the +5 for UMD when it comes to, in spellcraft when it comes to reading scrolls. That's what it was. It was an amulet that give you a +5 to UMD in spellcraft with scrolls. So you're actually going
okay, because I failed.
So you're actually going to have that as a bonus. So I suppose you're going to have to either keep that as a, because your UMD and your spellcraft are actually 2 different numbers. Oh, that makes sense.
Basically the same. One's 11, one's 12.
Yeah, I just feel like you should just make a skill down at the bottom that says scrolls, and and you can roll that for your skill stuff. So I'll actually make that for you really quickly.
Ooh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Scroll use, and it's going to be, we'll set it as charisma, because we know that that's going to be a, more or less, we just have to have it so it functions like the other one. Sorry. So miscellaneous and temp. So, give me 1 second for the boring stuff. Sorry, everybody. 7, get this there, plus 5. So for UMD, it's a 16. And for, actually, let me just do it this way. So 7 becomes 12. So plus 1 for spellcraft. Craft checks. So we know that this is scroll use. So it's use magic device. For specifically, like, so if you're doing UMD for scrolls, it should roll like this. Did it pop up? There you go. And so if it's your UMD, it's that modifier, but it's 1 higher if you're doing for spellcraft checks, which would be to identify scrolls. That's what that amulet was. So it was an amulet of scroll use.
Okay, do I tick it, or is that going to cause issues with the hem?
Yeah, you can just leave it unticked.
Cool.
Perfect. So that's what it was, and we just made it a separate skill for you for how to do that. You just kind of have to remember to use that instead of the appropriate skill when it's time when it comes to scrolls. So that's right. Yeah, I gave you the amulet. They give you the plus 5 to the scroll use, which is like awesome. Now you won't screw up with scrolls. That's good news when you're summoning things. So perfect.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll still roll natty ones. It'll happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I have like an example. There is I have a plus 12 and I rolled a 5.
well. So just so you know, the natty 1 doesn't mean automatic. Oh, it's a skill check. Natty 1 does not mean automatic failure. What it is if you fail by 5 or more. So if you roll a natty 1, that's what, a 17 now.
Yeah, that's true.
So if it's a second level spell, then that's failing by 5 or more. So you don't have to worry about catastrophic failures on 0 or first level spells. Just so you know.
Okay.
Cool.
Good to know. Good to know.
Awesome. All right. So cool. We took care of that for you. Now,
yeah,
you guys...
I think that's all I would have brought with me that's special. I think I would have left all the researchers. Oh, actually, I would have maybe brought the mage's notes in case they had something to do with this place. Because we got them from this place, didn't we?
Yes, but you didn't have a lot. So 2 things. 1, you haven't had time to look over the notes yet. They're still being compiled. And 2, specifically what 1 had discovered from before, and
they didn't know about. Yeah,
they didn't even know about this room prior. Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Never mind then.
Cool. So you'd be able to leave those behind. Neil and Jake, was there anything else you guys felt necessary to bring with you? I assume a couple of guards just to keep an eye on the place. Oh no, you already have people stationed there. My apologies.
Got people stationed.
Should we swing past Reed on the way?
Absolutely, it's a natural thing to swing past Reed for multiple reasons.
Might be worth bringing some rope. I don't carry rope anymore. I'm a king. Considering we are about to go spelunking / dungeoneering, it might be worth to bring
that's not a bad idea.
The equivalent of a dungeoneering kit. You know, climber's kit, pittons, hammer, crowbar.
You talking about dungeoneering kit, right? Those exist.
Yeah.
It's actually they're called. I think they are called kits, and they were made for Pathfinder. D&D just kind of like took them. 5e just kind of took them. But yeah, there's
climber's kit, healer's kit,
there's like a whole list of things that come inside of it. It's pre-weighted, pre-costed, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, you could easily grab up a Dungeoneer's kit. That's not an issue. But you won't really end up needing it, as 1 can describe. But it's good to have just in case.
I mean, we did there is a bridge with a pit below it, if I remember right.
You know what? You are 100% correct. My apologies.
So yeah, definitely a good idea to have that just in case.
Also, before we take a quick break, because it's coming on that time, is there anything in the chest? I'm gonna pop it open.
It's funny if you asked me next week, it'd be a different conversation. But this week, I believe it's. Yeah, when you pop it open, there's nothing in it right now. But next week there would be.
All right, Regicide. There we go. We know what we're doing now, boys. See you later, boys.
They don't know. They don't know.
Well, they're gonna. The only thing they're finding is I'm gonna start storing dead people in the chest.
No. We just put a bomb in it. Just like tape it to the top of the chest and just slam shut.
Oh, one last thing too is you did actually recently have a conversation with the old guy, with the young
Yes,
old
I
man.
did.
And more or less, how do I reach you and not here? Same way as always. Cool. And you were asking him to look into how it is with the water situation, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, something that the others don't know about. Let's keep this on the down low, Scott.
Yeah, but they know about it out of game.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
I
like
know,
we
I'm
weren't
teasing.
like right here.
So the guy pops up. Hey,
I'm
do you want me to
pretty
check in
oblivious, to
on
be
that?
honest.
Oh, sorry. All right. So unless there's anything extra you guys are grabbing, I imagine you hop onto your horses, since now you have good horses because of your new relationship with the town of Varen, and you're going to ride through Rid. Now, in riding through Rid, was there any additional stuff you wanted to do there, or would you like to just do a simple diplomacy check with Rid? Or actually, realistically, it's less a diplomacy check. It's actually going to be more of a loyalty check because you're going to be dealing with Rid as a society, like. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Yeah, as a country.
We have a huge bonus to loyalty, right? So why not use it?
Indeed. It's a plus 17.
So why don't we? But the DCs don't think the DCs still sit at your typical 15s or whatever. They're just different when you're doing kingdom checks. But go ahead. Why don't you roll me somebody their loyalty check and your dealings with Rid as you pass through.
I feel like one should do it, considering he's the chummiest with Tally.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Roll for Wink.
What was it? Plus 17?
17.
Roll for Wink. I like it.
Jesus Christ, buddy!
It's a killer wink. That's blue steel right there.
Do you want
Tally's coming back with us. She's moving to the kingdom. Sorry, guys.
He's gonna start his own harem. Rogar's faith is like.
The plans for that have long been in motion, Scott. Yeah, we get with the picture.
Who've we got? Hinter, Lady Vigil, Tally.
You're like this world's like Muslim or like what's the other Christian that has 4 wives? Mormon. Yeah, you're like this world's like Muslim or Mormon. You're gonna have like 4 wives. Each of them have a different like actual important status. Like, don't worry, boys. I'll take care of. We got 6 marriages of prominence amongst the 3 of us. I got this. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, it's beautiful. All right. So, anyways, and I know not all Mormons, not all Muslims believe that.
Where?
Just
Never mind.
public service announcement. I know not all of them do that. So, anyways, you guys go riding through. Did you want to luck check that, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. So you go walking through, and honestly, it's one of those things where even as you just look walking into the town, and she's like, "Oh, where is she?" She's actually over by her house. It's wintertime, so I mean, there's not a lot to be done around the area. Oh, did I change the month on the Kingdom Tracker? I did not. It's February, September now.
It's almost like you've been busy or something, Scott. It's not good enough, is it? What have you been doing? Moving house?
Building house. So anyways, this is like the heart of winter. September for you guys down there, February for us up here. This is where the most snow comes in. So even though you guys aren't in the most cold of climates typically, there's literally snow that you're riding through. There's a lot of snow here. There's not a lot of work to be done in a quiet little town like Rid. It's just a matter of gathering up fish or eating the pickled fish or whatnot that they had already got themselves from the rivers. It's kind of like maintained through the winter, so you don't have to spend too much time by the waterways and whatnot. So when you go riding up to our house, it's one of those things where anybody can look out the window and see 3 figures in big heavy cloaks billowing inside the winter winds and whatnot against the snowfall during a well-lit winter's day that they can see. And you like noticing who's approaching, or like noticing people approaching. She would actually come out onto the porch with like a crossbow and one of the other people that live in the house, because again, farm hands and whatnot live in the area too, like share the house as well. And as she comes walking up and she sees that it's you guys, it's one of those big, warm, welcoming invites. And invites you into the home. The boots are taken. The cloaks are hung. Food is set on the table. Bottles are opened. There's laughter. There's food. There's fun, and so on and so forth. And honestly, if I remember correctly, Jake, were you actually flirtatious with her like you were with the other one?
I don't remember. I have no idea.
I
We didn't say that I was.
I think
which is
you,
like,
I honestly think that you were.
I think it was like she wasn't really sure how to act in the situation,
Yeah.
because she's never been involved in like a diplomatic meeting or anything, and he was rather
He was her
friendly.
Sherpa. Yeah, he was her Sherpa. So, anyways, it's one of those things where if you care to make a personal note to friendliness, you can roll a diplomacy check. If you care to make a personal note to friendliness, he's like, "Can I use intimidate as diplomacy? Technically, I have a skill that lets me do this. Can I scare her into liking me, please?"
technically, I could.
Yeah, it's just a little creepy.
Okay.
He's like, "I'm going to do it anyways." 26. There you go. There you go. It's beautiful. So you actually have a very successful time, and also kind of like winning things over with her. Again, there's a lot of people here, and so it's one of those. But it is definitely left when you guys leave. Say the next day, you spend the evening in Rid. When you guys leave the next day, it is actually left with one of those hope to see you soon kind of situations. And you guys ride south to Hodglen. The ride is actually not an enjoyable one like it has been many times in the past, even in the colder weather months. It's actually a bit harder. Crossing the bridge and getting to those midlands out there, the snow is actually a bit piled up. This trek is a bit dangerous. One of those ones where you're going to have to be careful traveling on the road alone, where you stand out like a sore thumb as dark figures heavily clothed in the winter. So much so that, why don't we have somebody roll me a D100, Tesh?
Why me?
Let me just say, Tesh, high is good.
Oh, why did you make it me then?
It's almost like I'm hoping. And why don't we take a quick break?
Fuck.
We'll see everybody shortly.
This is what you get for making it me.